Myth number 7, there are no objective advisors available to seniors trying to decide if a reverse mortgage suits their needs. Well, that's totally false because borrowers are required to work with independent third-party counselors approved by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, that's commonly known as HUD, in their local communities. Now, this educational session helps them make the right decision for their unique situations. In this case, I'm happy to introduce an outstanding participating advisor who has an exemplary reputation in the industry. In fact, we interviewed a number of their clients.
So I've never had a time when I couldn't reach him or when I asked him a question that he could not answer right then and there. The other agents were trying to be accommodating, but they were fidgeting. They were just fidgeting. And because of my training, I said, oh, this person is not in charge. And it made me drag my feet about doing the procedure because I wasn't sure of the person that was trying to represent me. And see, with Jay, there was none of that. There was absolutely none of that. And that's what made me feel really comfortable, I think, between my time and the government's training that has caused me to recognize certain things that I knew Jay was the person to go with.
Jay did a good job of making it happen, and we got what we wanted, and we're happy with it.
Well, Jay helped us step by step. I mean, there was, and everything, step 1, step 2, step 3, whatever. If we had questions, he was always there. He was always there. I mean, there was, yes, questions. I can't remember exactly what are the questions that they asked, but whenever we had a question, Jay was always there.
And we, like I say, he was only a phone call away.
Mm-hmm.
If he, I mean, we don't expect him to come by unless there's something important, and he did. He took care of everything.
Before you're even allowed to entertain the idea, you're required to go to a so-called, mine was over the phone, counseling session, and it is about a half an hour, and it is with I believe it's either banking or government controlled, where they go through every possible scenario and make sure that you're comfortable, you're not being tricked, you feel confident, and if you have any concerns, they will correctly point you in the right direction.
When I met him, I knew very little about so-called reverse mortgage or HECM, and I did look into it, but my impression was, I guess, was biased based on the previous knowledge that I had heard. Not just heard, so not reliable sources. So when I met with him and he mentioned this HECM program to me, and that it could also be used to buy or purchase new homes, not only to refinance existing homes, because my home was back on the East Coast, which I had not sold, but I didn't want to refinance it. I wanted to buy a house in LA because we're planning to stay here long term for family reasons. So then I started doing further research, or real research into it, and I found out that what he said made sense. So my next question was, is he the right person for me to go with? Because, there's always a choice, and I always believe in everything, including making financial investments, to look at all my options. So I did, I looked at it, I discussed it with the family, because after all, it has a direct impact on the family and my children in particular. So, and the more research I did, more I liked the program. And then, as important, I would say really as important, is the fact that I felt I could rely on Jay, because otherwise I'm very skeptical by nature. So I started trusting the guy, and I mean, what I found out in the end was that my belief in him and my reliance on him was justified. He's a very honest guy, and to be honest, in this business, one of the very few guys that I've met that I feel is an honest person.